Hey everyone, Michael Anthony here. Van Halen, Chickenfoot, Sammy in the Circle. But anyway, you're listening to the only podcast that is dedicated to breaking down the entire Van Halen catalog one track at a time. And the podcast will rock. Ow!
Hello, baby!
What is up, all you rockers, rockettes, and everything in between? You have joined us for a new edition of And the Podcast Will Rock. Welcome back to the show, everybody. If it's your first time here, welcome. Let me tell you about what we do. We are the show, the podcast that dives into the catalog and discography of one of the greatest rock and roll bands of all time, Van Halen, and we do it one track at a time. I am your co-host, Mark Kamira. With me, as always, Corey Slam Dunk Morissette, watching wrestlers battle it out over at AEW. Good stuff. I'm very jealous. Corey, how you feeling after that event?
That was a hell of a lot of fun. I was a little worried because it's funny. Everybody on Twitter is like, Regina's not a wrestling town. And our guest tonight can help me dispute that because Regina's had their fair share of great wrestling. But yeah, we took an AEW Collision in the Queen City on the weekend. We got to see CM Punk versus Samoa Joe, and it was really a fantastic night. We had second row on the floor, so they were right there. It was a fantastic evening. Tonight, actually, as we record this, they're in Saskatoon taping AEW Dynamite. My oldest daughter tried like hell to convince my wife to let us go again tonight. But instead, I'm here with you guys. So a pretty good consolation prize. I get to hang out with you, Mark, our special guest, and all of our great guests in the chat. Kevin, Tom, and Josh, Patreons extraordinaire. And Tom actually is a new patron here. He says, we're talking about your Highlander script before we started recording here, Mark. And he thinks that should maybe be a Patreon bonus. So there you go. Maybe polish that sucker up and put it in the Patreon.
Hey, you got it. It's a proposed trilogy. So if you really dig my ramblings, then hey, I've got more for you. So there's no limit to my bullshit that I can spout out. But you know who doesn't spout out bullshit is our guest today, because he's got things to say and he's going to get to the bottom of why Regina is or isn't the heart country that we all believe it to be. But you all remember our guest for the evening. He's been on it quite a few times, always got intriguing things to say, and I promise I'll get his name correct tonight. Heath McCoy returns to the podcast. How you doing, Heath? What's up? And whatever happened to Heath Murphy?
Whatever happened to Heath Murphy, that son of a bitch? I don't know.
One day we'll find out.
That prick owes me money.
Probably.
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Oh,
Good,
thanks
man.
for
Always a good time.
He just reached out of the blue and is like, why haven't you been on the fucking show in months and months? So yeah, it's like, what are you doing Wednesday? He's like, nothing, I'm there. And we even had to start a little bit late tonight. He's like, yeah, no problem. So I'm very glad Heath was able to accommodate my changing schedule today and come on the old show.
Always an honor.
So
and he said he wants to spin Van Halen 3 more than anything.
So bad.
I'll get your comments on that later. But would you agree with what Corey said? Do you dispute Regina being such a big wrestling town?
No, it's a huge wrestling town. Back at, I wrote the book on Stampede Wrestling, and that was primarily in Alberta and Saskatchewan territory. And Regina was one of the biggest towns on the loop. There was Calgary, Edmonton, and probably the third biggest one on the loop was Regina. A bigger wrestling town than my hometown of Saskatoon, for sure. The Dynamite Kid and Bret Hart had an epic ladder match there, not ever televised, which was what a travesty. But yeah, it's the stuff of legends, and that happened right there in Regina.
It is the stuff of legends. Like as you say, it's untelevised, so I never once saw any bit of that match, but I have heard about it for years. So if that tells you anything. But speaking of wrestling, I know this is a digression, but let's just go ahead and do it. Not a lot of Van Halen music for wrestlers' themes, and you would think that that would be rectified, but I'm going to ask you, you guys were a professional wrestler, and you had to choose a Van Halen track to be your entrance theme music. Which song would it be?
That
we're gonna let Heath go first on that one.
is a great question.
That is a great question.
Running with the devil. I could see a good heel coming out. You're working it, working the crowd, come out. I just watched Rocky 3 where Thunder Lips comes out, Hulk Hogan, he's working the crowd. He's doing that whole thing. I could see that you coming out that way, or Ric Flair style to Running with the Devil. Yeah, I think that would be a good one.
Good one there. How about you, Corey?
You know what? I think I would take on a little more of an Adrian Adonis persona. So probably Dancing in the Streets. And I can come flittering out. No. It actually, Tom stole my answer. Humans Being. I was thinking to make a great entrance, right? Because you have that ding, ding, ding. You can have like something playing on the Titantron, right? And then the full thing kicks in, the pyro goes off, and I step out, and everybody gets disappointed, like, oh, it's him.
That back in the day when Mark was just a wee lad, he still was stupid enough to do backyard wrestling. And one of the theme musics I used was indeed Humans Being. And I did it because I bring the storm. And by storm, I mean, I got hit a lot. I really got hit a lot by inanimate objects, and it hurt. But, what are you going to do? It's backyard wrestling. Don't do that, kids. It's bad for you.
Don't do that, kids. Yeah.
Yeah. So leave it to the professionals. Just leave it to the professionals. So
there you go. I'm gonna guess Kevin Brown would walk into Love Walks In, and he'd wear a little alien head. I imagine that would be his character. So
he would walk into Won't Back Down, and you know it.
Yeah, that would be a good one too. And like Josh, Chris of course, Weidman would be Hot for Teacher. Yeah, just like Chris.
Yeah.
You know what? I saw Chris Weidman fight at UFC 194, and when that music hit, the place blew up. Yeah, it's the perfect walkout song for mixed martial arts.
Yeah, it's, say what you will about it, but I mean, he certainly pulled it off, because that dude was a hell of a fighter. So I don't know. Yeah. I'm so out of the loop of UFC. I don't even know if he's still fighting, but in his heyday, he was awesome.
Greg Zito in the chat. He wants to be the Atomic Punk. That'd be a good one.
Nice. Ooh, very good one, man. Yeah, I was kind of hoping one of y'all would say it. So there you go. Right on, Zito.
Oh, and Kevin Brown says, "You're damn right, Mark. I won't back down." Would have been Kevin Brown's walkout music. So.
And if he has to choose Queen, then I don't know why you wouldn't pick Princess of the Universe. That shit's awesome.
Damn right. Or Killer Queen. That'd be a good one.
Or Killer Queen. That one, I feel like that's like for the lady wrestlers, the Killer Queen, whatever. That seems like a good fit. But hey, if you want to use it, Kevin, have at it. So Christie's theme music would be Killer Queen.
If I'm coming out to a Queen song, to a Queen song, it's Stone Cold Crazy.
Nice.
That's good stuff.
Kevin Brown says for his Van Halen entrance would be Pound Cake. His stage name would be The Driller, and his fishing move is called the Missing Chuck Key.
The Driller. Bravo.
Kevin the Driller.
Either that or his porn name. One of the.
Yeah,
exactly.
Maybe we'll start a Patreon exclusive where we go more into rantings of wrestling theme songs based on the podcasts that we do. But you got a little snippet there. So hey, if you're listening out there, if you want more of that and have a longer discussion, we'll make a Patreon tier just for that. And please feel free to join it. Join our Patreon. We got good stuff for you. Before we move on for that, Corey, anything going on in the world of Van Halen news?
Oh, there's always a ton of stuff going on in Van Halen news. Our good friend Eric Sanich posted his article on the Eddie Van Halen cameo that almost was in Bill and Ted Face the Music. That is now on the Van Halen news desk. There's a great article from Jazz Albrecht again, the fateful encounter that led to Edward Van Halen's first interview. That's a video. Everyone should go check that out. Steve I says it would have been foolish to compete with Edward Van Halen. Well, in today's no shit news, it's coming from Steve fucking Vi, who's pretty damn good too. And coming to Saskatoon, actually, I'm trying to get my way up to Saskatoon with Kevin Brown to go check out Steve
his
Vi.
Word is pretty. You can trust his word on that. If he's the one telling you not to compete, no one should ever compete against him, then just take his word as gospel. I would say, exactly. If you're a guitar player.
Yeah. Sammy Hagar on Van Halen manager Ed Loeffler, quote, "He kept the band together." That's a little audio snippet from an interview with Sammy. And Wolfgang is going to be appearing on the Barbie movie soundtrack on a track called I'm Just Ken, written by Mark Ronson and sung by Ryan Gosling. So
I was about to say,
be a lot of fun.
That's the one that, I read somewhere that Gosling was singing. a song on there called "I'm Just Ken." I did not know that Wolfie was going to be on it until just a little bit ago, and then before you said it, so I was like, "Oh shit, that's going to be
just another reason to go see Barbie." Yeah, I can't wait.
I'm stoked about that. That'll be cool.
It's going to be great. And finally, and Kevin Brown's going to love this. The Starfleet project that Brad May is releasing, he did so with the blessing of Alex Van Halen. He just kind of checked with him, made sure he was cool with them releasing all that stuff with Eddie, and he said absolutely. So that big box set coming out very, very soon. I know Kevin Brown has his copy pre-ordered.
Very soon. We'll get your copy, your pre-orders right now, or ask Corey to do it, and Corey will humbly ask Kevin Brown to save him more copies, and he'll be in debt to him for the rest of his life, or until the CMPU finally picks up and just destroys all other podcasts in its way. He's coming for you, that Corey Morissette.
Won't be long. Won't
be long now. So let's go into the rockin' poll. The poll for last week's show / go into the Twitter. We did the song "Get Up," and I was curious as to how this one was going to vote, and I'm still a little. I'm not shocked or puzzled. I'm just sort of going like, oh, okay, that's an interesting number, because we had 77.5%. What the Dreams Are Made Of. 22.5 Dream Is Over. So it was like obviously an astounding yay overall, but not as high as maybe it could have been. Then again, as Corey brings up the stats right now, this doesn't track very high in percentages as far as the yays. So does this result surprise you in any way, Corey?
This is kind of where I thought it would kind of slot in. Definitely not as good as 5150 or Why Can't This Be Love. In Under Dreams, I thought a little bit higher than Love Walks In. It's kind of where I slotted this one. You know, the big rock fans are going to go for Get Up, right? Where the guys who hate the ballads and like the Dave stuff, they're going to downvote stuff like Love Walks In.
Every time.
And we haven't done Summer Nights yet. That's when I think that could maybe eclipse it on the poll if we ever spin it here. But Good Enough is going to be interesting too to see where that slots in. But slots in, not sluts. Jesus, what a day I'm having.
Yes, but there it is. Heath, I don't know if you voted on Get Up. If you did, which would you care to say which way you voted, or if you didn't vote and you want to vote now, which way would you vote?
No, absolutely. I voted. For me, it's The Dream Is Over. And I know, Mark, you're wiping, and he's one of the Hagar haters. I'm not. I love 5150. Almost the two songs that don't work for me on that album are Get Up and Good Enough. I think the ones that are kind of, in the hard rock, kind of more Dave vein. I don't know. There's something about Get Up that just never. I like Sam's lyrics. I like the whole boxing thing. I like the message of the song. I don't know, man, that chorus, it's just screaming to me. It's just pure screaming. The whole thing's kind of ham-fisted. Even the rest of the band. I mean, what they're playing is is phenomenal, but it's also sort of, it's just kind of frantic. You know, the song, the song just never really goes anywhere for me. When I do 5150, that's my top one to skip, actually.
Wow. That's third track, and he's just like, nope, going past it. So hey, I respect it. That's all well and good. Even if I go like, agree to disagree, but no, it's all good, man. No, but look, no, you weren't alone, because I mean, 22.5% out of 111 votes or so. That's a good number of people agreed with you on that one. So let's find out exactly what everybody's saying. So, hey, you guys, I'm going to read some tweets about the poll. People, you tune in, you listen to the show, and then you vote on your song, and you tell us your reasons why you voted, and you get your tweet guaranteed read on the show if you are on our Patreon. So join our Patreon. Okay. We can read out your tweets. So I'm going to just go ahead and go through the list of patrons as a thank you so far. We got Matt Lacoste, Nate from the Deep Purple podcast, Rava Flav, our good buddy Josh, lurking in the chat, I believe. What's up, Josh? Greg Zito, Michael Griffith, Chaz Charles, Sean McGinnity, Kevin Brown in the chat, Per Lineker, Scott Monroe, Ryan Powell, Jeff Brewer, and we got some newbies and some returning ones by Ben Andriozzi, Tom Armbruster, our good buddy Tom, Scott Everett, frequent contributor to the tweets, and last but not least, Wabo and Cabo himself, Don. So thank you all so much for being on our Patreon, keeping us going. Let's have a look to see what you're all saying. starting it up from, at least where I'm reading, from the Sean Geek and Fast Fret podcast. That's Sean McGinnity. He says, for the longest time, my favorite track on 5150 was Get Up. Love Tude in this song. Love Tude in this, I guess Love Attitude, Love Tude in this song. Yeah. Sammy's vocals and lyrics are some of his best. Something about Eddie's tone hits right with me, and Alex proves why he's a motherfucker. So well said. I would not disagree with that statement. Heath might, but that's what Sean's saying.
Not the idea of Alex being a motherfucker. Alex is a motherfucker.
Yeah, of course. Yes, we have to. That's a good clarification. Yeah, don't dispute that. So, good job. Mike Griffith says my intro to 5150 started as a kid in a Toys R Us parking lot where I stumbled upon a brand new cassette of 5150 left on the ground unattended. What? The rock gods were with me that day as I picked it up, took it home, and played that thing so much my mom knew the words to Get Up. So I'm assuming mom was not originally a Van Halen fan, but knew Get Up because you played it so much. So that's an amazing story. First of all, just the nostalgia of the Toys R Us for one thing, and then second of all, it was just there in the parking lot. That's incredible. That's a gift from beyond, my friend.
From the rock gods, absolutely.
Yeah. You may not be able to play the cassette tape anymore physically, but I hope you at least have the copy on hand always, because that's a token. So moving on now, Kevin Brown, he's in the chat. So whatever he says, I'm sure he can pop up with an excuse or what have you. Kevin Brown says, DLR fanboys, quote, Van Hagar is just synths and crappy ballads. Ed, quote, hold my fucking beer. He says, absolutely fantastic. One of the heaviest Van Halen tunes of any era, sitting between WTCDBL. I'm sorry, which track is that one? Well, anyway, sitting between that and Dreams on 5150 just makes it punch all the harder. Absolutely what dreams are made of. So sorry, I blanked on
this be love.
Thank you. Why can't this be love? Yeah, sorry, blanked on the acronym. We use a lot of acronyms on the show, and I can't keep up with all of them. So thank you, Kevin. Yes, and yeah, that's that. Again, no disagreement there. It is. I guess. Would you agree that's one of their heavier tunes? It certainly felt like it's one of their heavier songs.
I think it is. I think it's one of the heaviest, fastest tunes they've ever done.
Certainly of the Sammy era, 100%. Yeah, this feels like if Dave sang it, it would go on like Women and Children or Fair Warning.
Yeah, it reminds me of Loss of Control almost. You know, that crazy bit of Loss of Control.
Loss of Control. Yeah, good call there. Our aforementioned earlier Don Wabo and Cabo himself says, no question, it's what dreams are made of. Like Kelsey said, there is so much, so much good music with Sammy, and this is a prime example. Absolute banger. I grew up with David at the helm, but didn't mind one bit when Sammy took over. I love it all. Parentheses, except the Gary era. And I'll just throw in an apologies to Gary, because we got to have at least one in the show. So there you go. He's he's speaking my language there. Didn't mind when Sammy took over the helm because it was still good shit coming our way in terms of Van Halen products. So yes, I echo that sentiment. So thank you very much, Don. Going forward, then we got Scott Everett, new patron, but old friend, says, such a fun song. Anyone that thought that Van Halen had slowed down just because of hearing the first single got a wake-up call. Sammy was on point and the band was on fire. Boom. Again, no disagreement there. And we have Greg Zito says, this is a close call. Missed the harmonies. The bass is too low in the mix, and I feel like a lot of imitators could have pulled this off. However, the relentless drums, guitar solo, and pure adrenaline delivered the knockout punch for the win. So so it was a close race for Greg. So he was kind of leaning towards you there, Heath, but ultimately he just decided like, nope, just too good. And I get it. I've been kind of on the opposite end of that spectrum recently with a downvote I gave, and everyone thought I was insane. But hey, them's the breaks. What are you going to do? Tarm Umbruster says, absolutely understood what Kelsey meant when she said it sounded like a Dave tune. I think they were working on it before the split, but it's absolutely Sammy's showcase to keep up with Eddie, blend with Mike, and getting up with Al. Hashtag what dreams are made of. There you I mean, yeah, kind of like what you guys said. This sounds like it could have been on Fair Warning or Women and Children First. So yeah, there you go, adding merit to that perception.
And actually, I got a little insight from one Eric Senich on that. He
Please.
sent an email after he listened to the show. He said, I listened to the rest of the episode. Great comments on Get Up. I think it was Kelsey who said it sounded a lot like a song Dave would sing. Although it's only Good Enough and Summer Nights that we know we're ready for Dave to work on, he wouldn't be surprised that Get Up was maybe another one that was intended for him. So we don't know that for a fact, but it would certainly make sense if it was. And then Mark made an interesting comment about what it would sound like if Dave sung Get Up. Interestingly enough, Dave recorded a song from his 91 album, A Little Ain't Enough, called It's Showtime. And it's really similar to Get Up. And he actually sent us a clip, if we can play it here, of Get Up and It's Showtime together. So. So there you go.
It does make
there's
you
some
wonder.
similarities there, yeah.
Yeah, I heard a little bit of Hot for Teacher in there as well. Well,
that's the
does
thing.
make you
Van
wonder.
Halen's got those songs like that, you know, what's another one? Like I'm the One, or I'm on Fire, and Hot for Teacher, and this, like they're those songs that have that fast gallop. I mean, you can
The
almost
swing.
say
It's the swing of it all. Yeah. They got that. Yeah. So very cool.
It's just kind of weird. Yeah,
Eric.
5 years apart, all of a sudden Dave has a song. Sounds an awful lot like Get Up. By the way, Little Ain't Enough, great album. It is a great song. Yeah, good album.
Makes me wonder, did Dave listen to Get Up and go like, you know what? Not to give Sammy any credit, but that one's not bad. But I bet I could do one better. I was like, all right, in the studio, here we go. And it's like, okay, sure.
Kevin Brown totally hears Hot for Teacher there too.
Yeah, exactly. It's that drumming, man. It's that rhythm. But cool stuff. Thank you, Eric, for kind of shattering the illusion there. Or it wasn't even an illusion. It was just blowing our minds. From Regarding Lulu, that's our buddy Chaz Mataz, I believe, says people just can't handle this song. It's hella fast, the tone, it breaks sonic barriers, those brain bleeding harmonies are insane, fucking bass and drums, pure intensity, sounds like cocaine feels. I'll take your word for that, Chaz, because I've never done the cocaine, so I wouldn't know.
I love that comment though. And actually, Chaz is working on something pretty cool for us, Mark. I don't even think I've told you this yet, but he's taking kind of like our data on this little spreadsheet that we're doing, and he's doing something pretty cool with it. So hopefully more next show on Chaz's little project. But thank you very much, Chaz, for just going out of your way and saying, hey, I do this for a living. Give me your info from the spreadsheet, and he's going to turn into some cool 3D type shit. So.
Ooh, all right. Well, stay tuned for that, and thank you, Chaz.
Another thing about those somebody said those mind melting harmonies on Get Up. And what if I think that brothers used to call Michael Anthony like Cannon Mouth or something like that, because he had such a powerful voice himself. Like you can really hear it on that, right? You can hear it like him and Sammy doubling up like that. It's pretty powerful for sure.
I think I called him the unsung yet still singing hero in that one, because he is that harmony is very, very in your ear holes and in such a good way. So yeah, very much so. Moving on here, our Scott Monroe with a little mini festo, I believe he says, to make a Spaceballs reference, every member of the band is running on liquid Schwartz and reaching ludicrous speed levels of insanity. Stellar Sammy vocals here with some quality screams. The bros deliver some fast-paced swing, and Eddie Van Halen's solo soars to face melting heights. But for me, The star is Mike Anthony. His high register harmonies on the chorus are a delightful earworm, and his joyful cackling on the concert style ending gives me goosebumps. For a deep cut or filler track, this is as good as it gets. Hashtag what dreams are made of. You took it right out of I mean, we said it and there it was. Yes, you absolutely. That's that 100% check mark every time. Thank you, Scott, for that. And then finally, Jeff Brewer says, not near my favorite from the album, but in all fairness, this album includes 5150, Best of Both Worlds, Summer Nights, and Dreams. The song still smokes, and Ed is great, of course, showing off his new toy, the Steinberger Tremolo. I love the little pre-solo interlude. So that is a completely valid statement, and I would kind of agree with you on that. It's like, I don't think Get Up is my favorite on 5150 because you just listed out some of the songs that would absolutely go above that ranking. So yeah, but still a banger, at least in our eyes. Not Heath McCoy's, but he's got his reasons why, and we respect him for it. So there you go. There's some tweets letting us know how the voting went. Again, you guys, if you want your tweet read on the show, join our Patreon. We've got a tier for you. I guarantee it. And if we don't, let us know. We'll find one for you. So now we do what we came here to do, except we do the other thing we came here to do, and that is, say it with me, manifestation. Yay. Good job. What, pray tell, Corey, if you have it brought up, and if you don't, that's cool. I'll stall. But if you have the Discord, we have a Discord if you join our Patreon, you guys, and in it, we have a whole folder full of manifestations. What are the Discordians saying that they want to manifest for the show?
Well, Scott Manifesto Monroe, I got the same idea as him, so I'm just going to hop on his comment. I was thinking about wrestling theme songs, and I thought, geez, House of Pain would probably be a good one, right? And it's also the last track on 1984 we talked about. When we finish off an album, we're going to do a live show with all of our patrons, and we're going to rank the tracks on that album. So if we spin House of Pain here tonight for Scott and myself, we'll finish off 1984. So that's one. Our good friend Mr. Brewer wants to hear Summer Nights, perfect follow-up to Get Up. That'd be a good one too. Blah, blah, blah. Kevin Brown still manifesting Spanked, unironically even, he says. So Greg Zito wants to hear a little Black and Blue. So that'd be a great one. One of my favorites off OU812. And just on the previous comment there about the Twitter and all that, Kevin Brown agreed with you, Mark, that he thinks the Dave song, It's Showtime, sounds closer to Hot for Teacher, which you could definitely hear that as well. And Tom says he could see Dave's song on A Different Kind of Truth, and I could see that too. It kind of fits the mood of A Different Kind of Truth, and not so. And like Dave's albums are so eclectic. Like we go from It's Showtime, that big banger of a track, to a song like Sensible Shoes, which is just this little like blues riff, like a kind of a twangy thing. It's really kind of cool. So maybe it fits a little more on A Different Kind of Truth than it did on A Little Ain't Enough. But Scott and I manifesting House of Pain, Greg Zito, Black and Blue, Kevin Brown, Spanked, Heath McCoy. What would you like to hear tonight? I'm guessing it's not Van Halen 3, even though that's what I said at the top of the show.
I've been going back and forth. Can I do a Sammy and a Dave?
Sure, why not?
It feels like it's summer, so I'm thinking, I'm with everybody else. I think half the world for a Sammy song wants Summer Nights, and I would love Summer Nights. I love that song. But so a summer theme, Dave, how about Beautiful Girls? Or have we done that? Has that come up?
We've done that one. Yep.
Oh, you
I've
have
done that one. Yeah.
Boo. Okay. Not that one. Okay, then the other one I was going to say, it's not that. This takes me off my summer theme then, but Big Bad Bill. I love Big Bad Bill.
There you go.
There you go. Yep, that's still on there. That's a good one.
Good stuff. And me, I am going, I really want to do another 5150 song, but I'm not going to do it. Instead, I'm going to manifest once again from the Fuck album, because we just don't get enough of it yet. It might be our last album that we cover as far as the wheel goes, but Top of the World, man. I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood for some Top of the World. That's what I want. And,
very close last week to hitting it.
It was very, very close. So, hey, fingers crossed. And then a proxy vote, Amsterdam from someone who shall not be named. But if we land it, we'll name that name.
She needs to class up the joint a little. I wouldn't mind Amsterdam tonight. So
this is very true. So it would be good to get that in there. So a lot of Sammy, a lot of manifesting Sammy on this end. So All right, cool. If Heath is ready, if Sammy backstage is ready, if you're ready, Corey, you want to give the old wheel some priming?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, let's prime this thing. Heath, pick a number between 1 and 5.
1 and 5, 5.
All right, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shuffles of the wheel and hit it.
Here we go.
We are going to get. Oh, what are we going to come to? It's Apolitical Blues from
Apolitical Blues.
OU812.
Oh, it is.
boy.
Okay.
All right.
Sammy, it is.
That was very close to as is.
It was very
Yeah.
close. Yeah.
Which
And look what else was there on the other side. Summer Nights was right there as well.
Right there. Oh, man.
Top of the World was right down there, only like 4
Dance the
away.
Night Away is right
Amsterdam,
there.
yeah. Black and Blue was on that
Surprisingly, yeah,
side.
I would have anticipated we'd gotten Dance the Night Away like a long time ago, but that one just keeps eluding us for whatever reason. But nevertheless, here we go. Apolitical Blues. I don't know, and please correct me if you guys are in the chat out there, or if you're listening to the show when it comes out. Please let us know. I don't know that this one has been heavily requested or manifested. I'm not sure. This is not. There are many titles that I can look at and go like, oh yeah, people are wanting that one. Yeah, that one. Apolitical Blues is. I'm not sure if that is one that's been highly requested. Corey, could you? Do you happen to know? Is that one people are looking forward to?
I don't think so. Maybe Eric Senich one night said he wanted to hear it, but this one is kind of because it wasn't on the vinyl edition of OU812. This was on the CD version only, so it was kind of like an afterthought song. Sammy Hagar played guitar on it, and it was a cover from a band I can't recall right offhand.
It's from Little Feat, isn't it?
Little Feat, yes,
Feat, yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It's
George and
Little
Little
Feat,
Feat. Yeah.
Yep, that's the one.
Who I think Templeman produced. I know Templeman was out by this part of the era, but I think Templeman produced Little Feat.
He did, yeah.
Some
Don
of their big
Landee,
albums. Yeah.
I think Don Landee worked on that album too, that this song came from. So that's why, hey, CDs can hold more than a record. We need like a 10th track. So let's just bang this out real quick.
Yeah. I haven't heard this song that much in my life because I owned OU812 back in the day, but I had it on cassette and this was not on the cassette. This was not on the cassette. So I've heard this song a couple times, but really not that often.
I have to confess, I am not 100% sure I have heard Apolitical Blues. I mean, I have seen the track around, maybe in one of my days of, I didn't own OU812. I never owned a physical copy of it. So a lot of that went by the wayside, but maybe in one of my days of just sort of letting the iTunes or Spotify shuffle just take me away to Van Halen land. Maybe I heard it during that point, but I can't pick it out. So this is it's gonna be pretty fresh, I think, going into this, at least for me. So I don't know what we're in for.
Interested for this one. This is cool.
Yeah. If I suddenly remember in the middle of it, then that could go. The voting could go either way. But I'm curious.
This is according to our good buddy CJ Chivers from the Van Halen Encyclopedia. This is one of only 2 Van Halen tracks featuring guitar work from Sammy Hagar, and Ed played slide guitar on the song using a 1959 black Airline guitar purchased at the NAMM show in 1985. So,
well, then got that to look forward to.
He goes deep in the Van Halen Encyclopedia. I tell you, he even tells you where Eddie bought the guitar.
Jeez, I don't even like. I don't know where people are able to even get the information that they're able to get sometimes, but good people over there. So very much check out the Van Halen Encyclopedia whenever our quote unquote expertise just doesn't seem to cut it. Don't follow us. Go to the more seasoned approach, the more researched heavy encyclopedia route. Okay, do that, or just tweet at Eric Sinich. I'm sure he's got an answer for you. So
there's another, I don't know if I should save this till later or not, but speaking of weird trivia, but I know this, this song at Little Feat, actually, there's another Van Halen connection through that as well. I don't know if I should say it now or talk about it later. It's kind of pretty interesting though.
Oh, go ahead.
Should I just let it go?
Sure.
So Little Feat, the song is Lowell George was the genius of Little Feat, and I think he probably wrote Apolitical Blues. And his daughter her name is, she's a musician as well. She's Inara Jones or something like that. And she's in this sort of jazzy pop band called Bird and the Bee. Have you guys ever heard it?
Never heard of that one.
No.
I cannot say that.
It's very cool. They did a cover album of Van Halen, and it's like little jazz, cocktail jazz sort of versions of Van Halen songs. It's the Dave era, and it's really worth checking out. And that's the daughter of Lowell George. So there's this whole connection here. I just kind of interesting.
I'm into that. That sounds cool.
You know, I just did a quick search for Apolitical Blues, and there's a version, Little Feat's version with Jeff Healey from 1990 on YouTube that everybody should go check out. That's pretty, because Jeff Healey's a fucking genius.
Yeah.
He was.
Yes, indeed. Well, then, you guys ready to light this firecracker?
Let's do her. All right. This is Apolitical Blues from OU 812, originally recorded by Little Feat in 1972. This is Van Halen's version from OU 812.
Well, my telephone is ringing. It told me I was jamming mouth. Well, my telephone is ringing.
I love the beginning. You kind of get that hiss that you would get if you just hung two mics in the middle of the room and the band was playing, right? You kind of get that ambient hiss on there. I thought was kind of cool.
They sound like they're playing in the middle of the room at Ground Zero. And if you don't know what Ground Zero is, I'm not talking about the Ground Zero in New York City. I'm talking about this little blues bar / club in Clarksdale, Mississippi called Ground Zero, owned by Morgan Freeman, actually. But
cool.
If you don't know where Clarksdale, Mississippi is, I get it. I get it, but it's the home of the blues, and it's this bar is not far from the actual crossroads of Robert Johnson fame. So, but yeah, that's exactly what came to my brain as I was listening to that intro. Is like, wow, it literally sounds like they're just in that space and they just set up a mic and like, all right, go, we'll record. Like, all right.
You know, I know, like, you know, you've got in the Dave era, they touch on blues a fair bit. Like Dave, I think you can tell Dave is a fan of the blues. He loves the blues. It's his wheelhouse. You don't get it a lot in the Sammy era. So it's kind of cool to hear this from him.
That's kind of what I was going to bring to the panel here, was that as far as I know, and apologies, I know I'm a fan, but I don't know every aspect of Sammy's life. Not a big blues guy. I mean, I'm sure it had some influence in his, like, at least guitar playing upbringing. Maybe there's always like a little bit, but as far as I knew, not a big blues guy. So this is kind of outside of his wheelhouse. Am I correct in that assumption that Sammy's never been like a blues sort of guy?
You know, I'm trying to think of his discography. I think he did a song called Young Girl Blues at one point, but yeah, I don't think it's not as deep as like David got into it, or
right, yeah.
He comes by it secondhand, right? Because he was a Zeppelin guy and he loved all that. Those guys come right from the blues, right? But he definitely
that makes sense.
Secondhand, you know, for sure. Whereas Dave, I think I could see probably sat down with blues albums and got into them.
Yeah, very much
100%.
His wheelhouse of the blues. Yeah, that was another thing I was thinking too. I was like, oh wow, this song almost feels like it was catered to Dave with its bluesiness, but
Kevin Brown said the same thing. Kind of sounds like the type of track David Lee Roth would cover. 100%. Yeah.
Do you think that's Eddie playing guitar at the beginning there? Because I almost thought, no, I bet that sounds maybe it's Sammy playing at the beginning.
Well, Sammy is playing on this track, but I think the slide was Eddie.
Oh, it is, eh? Okay.
Yeah. I don't even know if Sammy ever played much slide guitar in his career.
Supposedly not. I think we've talked about this before, like not a lot, but on occasion, yes. And then you and I joked that in the studio, he probably just picked up like an empty beer bottle that was just lying there and was like, all right, sure, I'll do slide. Here you go, like this, and just did it. And it was like, yeah, just like that. Thanks, Eddie.
He kind of taught himself how to play slide. Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez. But that would have been a good question though, because I hadn't thought about if maybe Sammy was doing that, but yeah, I get the question for it.
All right, let's keep going here.
Oh, it was jamming now. Just tell him anything. I just don't want to talk to him now. Not now, baby. I got me my.
I'm loving it, but it sounds nothing like Van Halen so far. It sounds nothing like that, other than Sammy. Sammy's great voice.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, and that must be Eddie, I guess, like doing the boogie woogie piano, or I wonder if like maybe Don Landy sat down to that, or I wonder if
But yeah,
That's
it
a good
doesn't say who
question.
played piano, just that the song was recorded in about 30 minutes. And Don Landy just hung two microphones in the middle of the room and they just blasted through it. So yeah, Eddie's definitely playing guitar. So somebody else is playing piano.
And yeah, it was a lie. They didn't multi-track it or anything like that. Wow.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, like, was it a one take?
Well, they had 30 minutes. So
I guess so. So
probably a
I was
couple
thinking,
takes.
because I was thinking, like, if it was a few takes, then it's possible Eddie came in later with the piano. But then again, it sort of would disrupt the natural feel of the session. So yeah, maybe not. So yeah, I'm with you, Heath. I think maybe the producer's playing.
Very well could be. Tom is chiming in the chat. Eddie played slide on Women and Children First in Dirty Movies. Kevin asked, is this basically a one take Jake? It kind of sounds like it, right? Very loose and improvised 100%. Yeah, it's probably, take 2 or take 3. And Tom says Sammy also had a lap slide on the track Bad Motor Scooter. So,
all right.
Oh, well then.
So the man was known to play a little slide on occasion.
Just a little.
Yeah. Chairman Mao, you guys know a lot about him? Apparently,
not at all.
Apparently he was calling Sammy and Sammy didn't want to hear his bullshit no more. Like, fuck you, Chairman Mao.
The only thing I kept thinking, and I'm not up on my my politics of the late 80s. I thought maybe Chairman Mao was like a political thing. I mean, it is called Apolitical Blues, so I don't know who Chairman Mao is. So please, somebody tell me.
He was a bad man.
Yeah, he was very much a bad man. Yeah, chairman of the Chinese Communist Party, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay. That Chairman Mao. All right. I'm picturing like someone like a poster of a particular man. Like, I think that's who Chairman Mao is. So all right, I got you. Also,
chubby little fucker. That's Chairman Mao. Yeah.
Well, that doesn't narrow it down, but yeah.
Oh, sorry. Josh chimes in the chat. Sammy also played slide on Standing at the Same Old Crossroads, which it makes sense if he's singing about the Robert Johnson Crossroads, right?
Yep.
I don't recall.
And yes,
that
that's exactly Chairman Mao is exactly who I was picturing in my brain. So,
okay,
cool. I do know who Chairman Mao is, and Sammy wants none of it.
Yep. Telephone is ringing. They told him it was Chairman Mao, and he said, "I just don't want to talk to him now." So fuck that guy. There you go.
I'm looking for the line. How did you get this number? Don't call me again.
Why is Chairman Mao? It must be about the aliens. He's calling Sammy about the aliens.
But also, let's remember, Van Halen did not write this song. So
that's true. Yeah. Chairman Mao, I think, died in the 70s. So
I don't know why that's funny, but anyway.
Because fuck that guy. Fuck
that guy.
Mao. We're anti-Chairman Mao in this podcast. We're going to take a stand, God damn it.
There it is.
Apolitical Blues. Listen, man, as blows around.
Yeah, it sure sounds like the meanest blues of them all, doesn't it? Like, they're deep in the blues there. That's some good sounding shit. I'm a big ZZ Top, Led Zeppelin fan. Like Aerosmith, obviously I do a podcast on Aerosmith. They're deeply rooted in the blues. So this is kind of my jam. I don't know, Mark, this is kind of going farther away from the type of Van Halen you like. What are your thoughts thus far?
Well, I'm of two minds, because on one hand you are correct, but then on the other hand, like, yeah, except for a lot of that sort of old school blues feel, like this is sort of kind of ingrained into my blood by my Mississippi association. So I can't really right now. I'm not saying it's terrible or awesome. I'm just saying, like, I have to consider all things. You know what I mean?
Corey,
I gotcha.
you saying ZZ Top? That really, yeah. There's a what's that song? Jesus Came to Chicago or whatever. It's got that kind
Jesus
of
just
vibe.
left Chicago. Yeah.
Jesus
Just
just
left
left
Chicago.
Chicago. Yeah. I love that. That kind of it reminds me of that. I'm loving it. I'm just it just doesn't have that Van Halen flavor yet, but I as a detour for them,
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't sound like your atypical Van Halen, that's for sure. But perhaps that's by design. They're good about doing that sometimes, and sometimes they really miss the mark when they do it. How many say anyway?
And here, what do you think of the production? Because like this is an album that's famously kind of overproduced and not mixed very well. But this is just very raw. Get the group in a room, hang a couple of mics, and play the fucking tune. And to me, it sounds, even with the hiss, it sounds better than the majority of OU812.
I absolutely agree. Yeah. And this reminds me, it's kind of, Don Landy, of course, and Ted Templeman until they were really tight and did so many albums together outside of Van Halen even. And this reminds me of, because Templeman is known for that, capture the live feel and just do as few takes as possible and capture it live off the floor. And this reminds me of something, the way Templeman would have, I think, approached this. And, and it even sounds, because he produced Little Feat, I can see him having suggested it too, like let's do this as a cover, And
maybe it was in Don Landy's head that Ted maybe suggested it during the Dave era. And now Templeman's gone, right? He's producing Eat 'Em Smile at this point. So Don's like, we need one more track. We got this Little Feat song. Let's just fucking blast it out.
Right. I don't think I mean, I know like the whole thing about OU812's production quality, but I don't find all of it to be terribly awful. Like I don't find When It's Love to be lacking in production quality. I don't think Finish What You Started is lacking in production quality. Would I like a few things to be tweaked? Sure, but I don't think it hurts it anyway. And then you have other songs, of course, where we're just like, ooh, the production quality is making this thing suffer. So far for Apolitical Blues, it's working. Whatever they're doing is is working for this particular type of song.
All right,
the big knock on OU812 production is that you can't hear Mike, right? Isn't that the big knock?
That's the big knock, but sure.
But it definitely has some standouts, like a Cabo Wobble, I think sounded pretty good.
Yeah,
Black and Blue,
yeah,
I think
exactly.
sounds pretty good. So yeah. Hey, Mark, who sings the blues better, David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar?
Overall, or in this very moment?
Overall. In this very moment, Dave's not winning too many fucking matchups. Maybe against me he would, but that's about it.
Overall, I think Dave is still very much the blues guy, and Sammy is very much the high form rock and roller. Not to say Dave is not a rock and roller. I'm just saying, like, you asked me who's better at singing blues. Overall is probably Dave.
I'm just trying to look up who played piano on this track.
I'm intrigued.
I think the consensus might be that it was Don Landy. But
that's my vote.
Yeah.
Oh, what you got?
I'm still reading. I'll still keep digging while the track is playing. But so far, folks on Reddit seem to think it was Don Landy.
Yeah, I'm willing to. I think that's who it was, just because you can still hear Eddie doing a lot. And
oh no, sorry, I found it here. Eddie overdubbed the piano part. So nothing else on the track was overdubbed except Eddie's piano. So there we have it.
Then.
I wondered if it was Eddie, but it doesn't sound. Yeah, but it doesn't sound like Eddie, right? It sounds like, because Eddie's got a very distinct keyboard style. I love his keyboard style, but this is like your old school blues bar boogie woogie type piano. It's really cool to hear him do that.
Eddie has a little more personality maybe in his piano playing, and this is straight ahead blues. But yeah, like you said, it's very cool that he's doing that here.
Awesome, man.
All right, let's keep going.
That's all I'm talking about.
We almost had dueling solos there. We had like Sammy on the left side and Eddie on the right side. Then Eddie's playing piano too, but just guitar wise, like that's Eddie on the slide on the right side. But Sammy, he's not playing like straight rhythm on the left side either. He's doing his own solo. That was kind of neat.
Yeah, it was cool. I kept waiting for Eddie to break out and do some real Eddie-isms, and he doesn't really. I mean, it sounds great, but he's not, there's no point where he's doing, he goes into any tapping or anything like that, unless something I missed. But
Eddie's really good, and we talk about this all the time. He's really good at when he's doing a solo to playing the solo that fits the song.
Yeah.
And like very rarely will he just go like out of control. Like I don't know what the hell that was, because like whatever the original structure of the song is, you just blew that away.
Yeah.
For better or for worse, however you want to look at it. I don't know that he felt like he needed to do any of, what you would normally expect from him in terms of guitar playing, soloing for this particular track. Maybe, and I could be just making assumptions. I probably am, but I don't think he felt like it needed it. And maybe that's why he doesn't.
Yeah, no, I agree.
In the chat, Kevin Brown said, as you know, I'm a big Sammy guy, but he simply doesn't have a blues voice, not even close.
He doesn't, and I'll admit
I don't
that,
agree with. I would say it's maybe closer. I think close is a fair assessment, but he definitely not your typical blues voice. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he's sucking here, though. I mean,
no,
I think
that's what I mean. Yeah.
No,
he's showing up pretty good.
Yeah. And then Josh in the chat says, after a little late enough, Dave offered Robin Ford and his band to do a blues record with him, but it didn't materialize, and that would have been pretty fucking cool.
Oh wow, yeah, it would have. Damn.
And then he goes on to say that Robin Ford's Talk to Your Daughter is a fantastic album. So if you're not familiar with Mr. Ford, maybe check that one out.
Get learned.
All right. We got 1:07 left in this one. Let's check it out.
Let's do it.
Chairman Mao just won't take the fucking hint. Like, all right, he's not picking up the phone. Go to hell.
This Little Feat was they really had something to say about Chairman Mao and the Communist Party, evidently, because that's the star of the song, evidently.
Tom in the chat says he's not a huge fan of this one, but it's sounding good, good to him tonight. So there you go. Maybe we'll get an upvote from Tom on this one. That'd be all right.
All right.
Here we go. Let's finish this one off.
Talk to him now. No calls.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That part. Yeah, that's it's forced. Sammy's. It's not his wheelhouse. Blues is not his wheelhouse. That whole last bit was kind of. It didn't sound natural. It sounded forced.
Yeah. I could not agree more. Like the whole song, I'm thinking, no, he's doing all right. It's not great. He's not Billy Gibbons, but he's doing all right. And then that section played. I'm like, fuck, Sammy.
Yeah.
No. Oh God.
Yeah,
no.
Definitely this particular structure of like blues song is not. This is not him. This is not for him. So yeah, I'll agree with you on that one.
Yeah, Kevin Brown nailed it on the head once again. He should do the showdown. All right, that motherfucker Chairman Mao won't stop calling it. Gives me the Apolitical Blues.
Yeah,
Gentlemen,
just
that was
hang
that was
up.
a song from OUA. Yeah, just unplug your phone at some point.
Fucking hang up, yeah.
That fucker ain't taking the hint.
Yep.
And then
So
I
another
don't
one
I
off
don't
of
remember
it.
this. If we're looking at our lyric site here, I don't remember this line from the song, but I don't care if you're John Wayne. I just don't want to take no calls. So he really does not want to answer the phone. Because like if John Wayne called, I'd be like, fucking right. You know, tell me a story about Stagecoach. But no.
I'd probably hang up on John Wayne, but that's just me. I'm an agent of chaos.
Political?
And, like,
is that
whatever.
political?
That's true.
Yeah, it's yeah, it might be a little political, but yeah, whatever. But there you have it. Another one down from OU812. A bluesy riff. If you were looking for some classic Van Halen, this was not the show for it, because I would not call this a classic Van Halen. Yeah, like we don't make the rules, we just simply spin the wheel and the wheel gifts it to us. But though it might not have sounded like a traditional Van Halen tune, it was Van Halen covering a tune, putting their own spin on it, doing what they do best, and they do covers pretty damn well. But now comes the question, though: was it good enough to get an upvote? It's time to ask the panel, and we're going to start with our humble guest, Heath McCoy. You're back on the show after a long hiatus, what have you, call it what you will. This is what we spun. Your manifestation did not come to fruition. None of our manifestations did. However, you did get a Sammy track. So what I ask to you is, you've been on the show, you tell us, was Apolitical Blues, however you want to say it, from OU812, What Dreams Are Made Of, or for you, is the dream over?
The whole time I was thinking this is, even though it's a detour, I was thinking, no, Dreams Are Made Of. This is a cool tune. Then right at the end there, Sammy kind of blows it for me. That almost makes me go the other way, but I still enjoyed it. I'm going to say, yeah, it's Dreams Are Made Of. Slam. Dreams Are Made Of.
Any final notes for you there on the track there, Heath?
No, that was it. That was it. I mean, I enjoyed it. You know, I like when Van Halen does detours like that, and they're great. They're a great band for doing detours that you wouldn't think is Van Halen. And I actually think you get more of those detours in the Dave era than in the Sammy era. And this is one in the Sammy era that I dig it. Yeah.
Well, there you go. All right. So even though not totally crazy about it, especially towards the end, he still gave it a thumbs up. It was still good enough. Corey, ever the positive one, using the power of positive thinking, if you will. Would you say that Van Halen's take on Apolitical Blues is What Dreams Are Made Of, or are you siding with Chairman Mao and saying no?
God, I went back and forth the entire song, and I'm still debating, but I think I got to land on. And I am right with Heath. Like, I was the exact same way. Oh, this has got to be What Dreams Are Made Of. And then, oh God, but then this and then this. And just the negatives kind of outweigh the positives. Like, he's barely over the line for What Dreams Are Made Of. I'm barely over the line for This Dream Is Over. I like a good blues track, but fuck, Sammy is not good on this, right? And like, much more suited to Dave. The dueling guitars, I thought was kind of a neat touch, even though that doesn't really fit. Mike is absent. There's no harmonies whatsoever on this. So vocally, you just have to rely on Sammy, and he butchered this, especially on the end. Like, he really, Tom said it in the chat, Sam tripped at the finish line. He didn't just trip. He stumbled. He fell into a pothole that like, it was bad. His pants fell down and he shit himself all at the same time on that final section. And so that's why this kind of leans into The Dream Is Over for me, but it's very, very close. Mark and Meyer, we're kind of split here tonight so far. 1-1. You are the tiebreaker, my friend.
Well, it's a theme. Apparently, we're all kind of confused right up to the wire of like, where are we voting? Where are we voting? So that being said, with the caveat, of course. Now, I could absolutely change my mind next week when I go back and re-listen to it. Like, how did I really feel it? Like, does it still hold up? And I might be like, fuck, I completely misvoted. But at this moment, after hearing all of the arguments, hearing the song, what it comes down to is, did I have the same reaction that Corey had? And the answer is no, it was not that strong. I don't think Sammy dropped his pants and shit the bed at the same time. Like, I don't think that. I think he is still he's still doing a good enough job for what the song is, for how his voice is compared to say if you put Dave in this song. He's still doing the job relatively well. Does he stumble at the end? Well, yeah, that whole thing's a stumble, but I mean, what are you gonna do? But I will say, do I think Sammy should have been the guy to record the song? No, probably not. Does he still sound really good throughout? He sounds good enough. And I can't take away all the other good stuff happening in the song. And I would be lying to you if I said part of my old nostalgia of slight Mississippi upbringing. My parents are from there. Didn't play a little bit of a hand into this, because it did. Again, as you asked me earlier, I said I'm of two minds. Like, I can't forget about this whole other spectrum of music that I really enjoy, that had an influence in my younger days, especially my younger guitar playing days. So it spoke to me in that regard. And as Heath pointed out, I like hearing when Van Halen does something different. Now, sometimes they can overshoot and do something atrocious with that, or they can do something like this, which is a little bit more intimate, a little bit more, it's like they've done blues before, but they don't go too ham with it. I wouldn't call this like hammy blues or anything like that, but it's got a specific structure, and if you listen to it, you know what I'm talking about. More of Dave's wheelhouse, sure. However, Sammy still does it good enough, still well enough, and so even just by a margin, perhaps, it is what Dreams Are Made Of for me for now. Again, next week could be a completely different story.
I think I can tip the other way too. I could easily tip the other way.
I tell you, Tom in the chat says the same thing. He says he's giving it a 51% what Dreams Are Made Of, because the ending is just an anchor.
There you go. 51% I think is valid, and I think that's a good one. So it's like, so you guys made it, but just barely. Just because, and I don't even, the stumble at the end be damned. It was just the way everything else was structured, but the stumble certainly doesn't help it. And does it take away the what I think is still a good album from Oh You Ain't One Two? No, but it's not gonna jump to the favorite list at any time soon. So there you have it. Cannot wait to see what the poll results are going to be for this one. I'm pretty sure I have a great idea, but I don't know. Maybe not. I've been surprised before. I'm
going to say 60-40. I think a lot of people are going to side just like you and Tom and Heath, because I was close. Like if Tom is 51, I was 49. Like it was right there. And even as Heath was talking, and he was talking positively about it, I still downvoted it, but just barely. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was 55-45, but I'm going to say 60-40. I think the poll is going to shake out
60-40. Well, there you go. Place your bets. It could very well be. What if it turns out to be 60-40, but the other way, like 60%?
That would be surprising.
No, it's like, wow, that's incredible.
We don't have a ton of tracks that were just downright negative.
Not a ton.
The biggest one might be Up for Breakfast, 19%. What Dreams Are Made Of, 81%. The dream is over. So, and Learning to See was 50-50 for crying out loud. Let's go to Van Halen 3. What was the lowest rated on there? Lowest rated on there was only 22% for How Many Say I. So currently the lowest ranking single is Up for Breakfast.
I can't believe you all, I'm talking to all of y'all out there, I can't believe y'all voted How Many Say I higher than Up for Breakfast. I mean, look, I know Up for Breakfast is not a winner. I know that. I conceded. Like, you can listen to the show and hear Corey break me down. And it's just like, okay, you're right. This is not great. This is not a great tune lyrically or anything like that. But it's certainly a few percentages higher than how many say I. Come on, you guys. I think a lot of y'all need to go revisit that episode because you're crazy. You're talking nonsense out there. But anyway, it's music subjective. It's fine.
That's right.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? But there you go. Another one down and another one for the books. Nobody manifested. Did anyone manifest an OU 812 song at all? Like, I don't think they did.
Yeah, Black and Blue.
Black. That's right. Yes, Black and Blue. Well, we did.
I think that might be the only one left. Oh no, When It's Love, we still haven't done.
When It's Love, dude. Yeah, we still do When It's Love, and I'm just gonna tell y'all right now. Yeah, spoiler alert. That one's gonna make me very happy to do.
And I hate that song. I'd love to be.
Oh man. Well, I hope to God that the next time you are on the show, Heath, we spin it. I hope it's a live show so you can just like jump in, because that's gonna spark some conversations, and I'm here for it. But until that time, we that is one show down, and that'll wrap it up for us, you guys. So, but before we go, Heath McCoy returns to us.
We got a few things to do.
Wait. Damn it. He caught me. I was trying to.
That's right.
I was trying to slip it
I was
by
wondering,
him,
you're taking off early.
Yeah.
It is time to play. How many times did Van Halen perform Apolitical Blues live? Let's start with Mark Meyer, because I like Heath more than you. How many times do you think Van Halen performed this track?
Part of me just wants to say the one, because like the live recording sounds like they were just live somewhere, like at a club. And it was like, yeah, we'll record this and we'll throw it on the album. And like, all right, I guess. And then they never played it again. No, but I'll be generous. I'll say they probably played this thing 5 times.
5 times. All right. Heath McCoy, remember, this is Price is Right rules. You have to come closest to the actual number without going over. So how many times do you think Van Halen performed Apolitical Blues live in concert?
I bet never. I'd say I'd give it a big fat 0.
Big fat 0. Well, the winner this week is Mark Meyer.
Really?
The correct answer is 9 times. 9 times.
9 times.
Wow. 9 times.
9
and the majority of them came in 1991 on the Fuck Tour. They performed it 5 times, 3 times in 88, 1 time in 1989. So,
and they decided, there's like, you don't want to do 10 to make it even? Like, nah, I think we're not going to do this anymore. Like, okay. So that's hilarious. 9 times. That's hysterical. But hey, well, all right. So at least there are some people out there that at least got to witness a live performance of that. And if you are out there listening to the show and you have anybody lurking in the chat, if you ever saw them do this song live, let us know, and let us know how you felt about it, because I'd be very curious to hear the consensus on how people felt. Where was it in the set? You know, how did it flow? Did it disrupt the flow? Was it at the end of the set? Was it the encore or anything like that? When everybody's already dead tired. So they're like, all right, we'll send everybody home with this kind of slow bluesy cover song that we got. But only the 9 times. We're not going to do it any more than that. That's funny.
I saw the Fuck Tour and it was great, but yeah, they sure didn't play it when in my city. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Select cities. So please let us know if you are part of that audience in the select city in which you heard Apolitical Blues, because I want to hear more about it. I want to hear everything about it, what you can remember anyway. So, all right. So now we got that game out of the, look at that. I won. Yay. Heath McCoy returning to us once again from afar. It's been a long time, man. So definitely don't be a stranger anymore. Please let the people know what you got going on, anything you want to plug, and where your socials are. They can follow you.
Just you know, Van Heathen on Twitter, and yeah, no, nothing from me, man. I'm just writing for the university, and that's what I'm doing right now. Oh, just wait. I'll plug Pain and Passion.
There you go.
Go to Amazon and buy my book, Pain and Passion: The History of Stampede Wrestling. That's a good one. I've also got a book about Chris Benoit. It's a co-author thing. Yeah, and so yeah, but Pain and Passion is the one that I would plug. And
didn't I just see you on A&E on a Bret Hart documentary?
Yeah, that was older actually. That was about 1.5 years ago that came out, and even longer ago that we did the shoot for that. But yeah, I got my my 2 minutes in that or whatever of fame. But yeah,
I saw one clip and I'm like, I know that dude. That's
yeah.
him.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that clip yet. I haven't seen the A&E special on Bret Hart anyway. I've seen a bunch of Bret Hart like specials, but I haven't seen that one. So I will be eagerly watching that and looking for your clips, man. That's gonna be cool. Cool stuff. And I look forward to Stampede Wrestling Part 2. I'm sure there's lots more to type and lots more to write about. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys get over there, support our boy. And if you like wrestling, if you like Van Halen, he's got the best of both worlds, if you will. Good stuff. Corey, please let the people know where they can find all of your universe connected podcasts.
Oh, my Lord. Well, let's see. We have this show and the Podcast Will Rock. You can find us at www.podcastwillrock.com. You can get your merch there, catch up on old episodes. We have the Patreon, of course, patreon.com/podcastwillrock. Become a member today. If you're a $10 patron and up, you get to lurk in the episode and comment on the feed. I know Jeff Brewer was just asking why he didn't get the link. And it's, well, my friend, it's because you have to subscribe to a certain tier, even though we do like to open it up on occasion to everybody, which we do at least once a month. I know we did it last week for everybody. But if there's not a tier for you, please let us know and we'll create it. You want Mark to come to your house, mow your lawn, and sing you a tune? He's more than happy to do that. That's on patreon.com/podcastwillrock. Of course, all of our socials are at Podcast Will Rock, and you can find us as part of the amazing Deep Dive Podcast Network, which features such shows as Backtracks Aerosmith Revisited, featuring myself, John Mariano, and Scott Haskin. John and I also do a show called Backtracks Theme Music, talking all things music and movies. Scott Haskin is wrapping up his Uriah Heep show, The Magicians Podcast, so you go catch up. He just eclipsed 100,000 downloads, which is a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
So huge congratulations from all of us at and the Podcast for Rock on that one. We're over halfway there ourselves, Mark. I think we're approaching 58,000 last time I checked. So won't be long. Hopefully we can get up to the lofty heights of one Scott Haskin. Our good buddies Nate and John at the Deep Purple Podcast, The Simple Men at Skinnerd Reconsidered, Terry T-Bone Mathley at T-Bone's Prime Cuts on the Other Side, Rye at Sabbath Bloody Podcast, Paul, Joe, and David at In the Lap of the Pods, of course, talking all things Queen, Andy and Matt at Hawk Binge, talking about the band Hawkwind, Eric and Jonathan at Maiden A to Z, Daniel and Joss at Diary of the Madmen, the Ultimate Aussie Podcast, which is, of course, a podcast dedicated to Wham, Ben and Sam at University Speaking, the Red Hot Chili Peppers Podcast, George and Hattie at the Judas Priest Cast, Clay and Ryan at North by South Podcast, Greg and Jonathan at So Far, So Pod, So What, talking all things Megadeth, Kevin Brown at the Tom Petty Project, and with his good buddy Randy Woods at Seaside Pod Review, another Queen podcast, Quinn at En Volume for All, Sam, Nick, Steve, Mark at the Rock Roulette Podcast, Chaz and Gray at Regarding Lulu, and of course our good buddies at the Sean Geek and Fast Red Podcast, You're All Doomed, a Friday the 13th podcast, the DLR Cast, the Bogus Otis Show, Pod of Thunder, the recognized symbol of excellence in rock and roll podcasting, Booked on Rock with the legendary Eric Sedich, Dissect That Film, and Three's Company 2, a rewatch podcast. And I just brought up Wham because I want to check out that Netflix documentary on Wham. It looks pretty good.
It's really good.
I saw that. Yeah, I was like, I'm looking forward to that one. That was gonna be real good. So do that. Good call. As Corey said, we have a Patreon. Please go to it. Find a tier. We've got one for you. We'll make one for you if we don't have it. Buy some merch, man. Hey, it's summertime. You need some cool swag to show off in these hot summer days, and we got your swag. And it represents Van Halen stuff too. And you're supporting some nice podcasters. I like to think we're nice. So yeah, who you want to celebrate nice guys, right? So do that. Go to our merch store, buy some merch, and see what we can do for you. For me personally, you can find me at Mark the Bat on Twitter and Instagram, and I guess Threads, even though Threads is kind of weird, but whatever. I'm over there. If you find yourself in the Nashville, Tennessee area on the day of July 22nd, that's a Saturday. That's in about 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks at this point. Come to the Basement East in Nashville, Tennessee. We are putting on Metal for Nashville Volume 2. We had such a great time in 2020, right before we got shut down because of COVID. But we had such a great time. It's a show I still talk about to this day. That show we had to do it again. So we're doing it again, Volume 2, Metal for Nashville. It's a tribute to the metalcore from the early aughts to the later 2000s. All your favorites, if you grew up during that time, or if you were just playing music during that time. A lot of Killswitch Engage, a lot of All That Remains, a lot of things like that. Basically, a bunch of us screaming in your faces. It was a great time in 2020. It's going to be an even better time this time around. You get your tickets at the door. It's like 15, or you can get them ahead of time. But Nashville, Tennessee, the Basement East, Metal for Nashville, Volume 2, all benefits going towards the Music City Hero Coalition. So it's for charity. So it's for a good cause. Do that. Come watch us scream in your face for a good cause. What more could you possibly want from that? And then there are more show dates upcoming, but I'll get to that at a later time. On behalf of Heath McCoy, hashtag whatever happened to Heath Murphy, and on behalf of Corey and myself, we are, and the podcast will rock, and we will rock you later.